You use Jobber to manage your jobs, and you use Trello for project management. And you need these systems to talk to each other. Jobber does have an app store, but if you look up Trello, it's not listed. So there's no straightforward way to just plug and play. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to connect Jobber with Trello using Make.com. This integration is super powerful because it's going to give you the ability to sync your jobs in Jobber to Trello as cards automatically. And we'll also show you how you can move cards around in Trello all from Jobber without even having to go into Trello. And as a bonus, if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you how to sync Trello card updates back to your Jobber job automatically. And for those of you new to the channel, my name is Josh Jackson, and I create automations for businesses day in and day out. From plumbers to roofers, we've helped so many businesses automate their operations. So if you're interested in automating your business and your workflows, I'm dropping our information in the description below, so feel free to get in touch with us. And with that said, guys, let's jump into Trello. So this is our Trello board right here, and we call it Jobber Job Tracker. And the purpose of this thing is it allows us to track the progress of our Jobber job from start to finish. So each card that's created here is essentially going to represent a unique Jobber job that already exists in Jobber. And the idea is that we will obviously move the card from left to right as it progresses through the process. And the stages here that we have set up just represent an example Kanban, but these stages that we have in this board, they can be completely customizable to how your business works, depending on your project management process, your accounting process, your operations process, etc. And now let's talk about automation. So we have an automation set up right here. We're using Make.com for this. That is automatically going to create a card for us in our Jobber Job Tracker in Trello whenever a job is created here in Jobber. And what I love about this automation specifically is that it's going to sync all of the data from our Jobber job to our Trello card. So we don't need to manually copy and paste anything. All of that data that we rely on is just going to sync automatically. Then we have an automation that essentially updates the status of our card to the appropriate status whenever the status of the job is updated in Jobber. And what I love about this automation in particular is it's going to keep our Trello card statuses up to date whenever anything changes on our job in Jobber. And that also includes start dates as well. So if you update your start date on your visit in Jobber, it's automatically going to sync the updated visit to the card in Trello, keeping everything up to date. So you don't need to go back and forth between Jobber and Trello. The automation is going to handle everything end to end. And finally, we have an automation that is going to update the status of our Jobber job whenever the card is updated to a different list in Trello. And what I love about this automation in particular is it just makes the whole process full circle. So whenever I move a card in my Trello board to a different list as it progresses through the Kanban, it's just going to sync those statuses automatically to the Jobber job and keep that Trello status up to date, so I don't need to update it manually. Okay, so now it's time to see this all in action. Here we are in Jobber, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new job. So let's create a job for one of our test clients. Let's make it a roof install. Let's add some instructions right here, and then we'll just scroll down and we'll schedule this later. And then all we need to do is just click on Save Job. And you can see here that the card got created automatically in the ready for scheduling status. We have the job number 27. It's a roof install, which was the title of this job, and it followed by the company name, which is Westcoat Roofing. If we click into it, we could see all those same details. We also have the job status, which matches. It says that it's unscheduled. And we also have the Jobber web URL. So if we click on this link right here, this is going to take us directly to the Jobber job. It's going to be linked automatically. Then you have the instructions, perfectly added, followed by the property details, and then we have the client information. And all of this is thanks to our Make workflow. So this event triggered because a new job was created in Jobber. We can see the data right here associated with a webhook. Then we have an action that gets the job, gets all those job details. Then we proceed to get the client. Then we have a router. And in this case, we are routing it to the above route if this is an unscheduled job, if we didn't specify a date for our visit. And then we have an action here to create the Trello card. Then we're simply updating the Jobber job with the Trello card ID, and we're logging some metadata. Now, let's say we're creating a job and we're ready to schedule it, and we want to add it automatically to the scheduled status right here. So we'll go ahead and create a new job, and we'll select a new client. And then we'll just make this a siding replacement. We'll add some instructions. And then we'll simply proceed to schedule this for Monday. Let's make it for the 31st. Let's go into make.com and let's run our workflow. Then just click on save right here. And let's see what happens. And there we go. You can see here that the card was created in the scheduled column. We have job ID that matches. It is the siding replacement. Let's click into it. All the same details we covered before. The instructions, all this data is unique. So now it's scheduled, and also we have a date. We have the 31st, which matches exactly what we added to our visit in Jobber. In taking a look at this run this time around, you'll notice that it took the bottom route. Now, why is that? It's because the job status is actually upcoming. So if it is upcoming, it takes the bottom route here. And really the only difference is that we have this API call that gets the visit ID, and then we're proceeding to get the visit details. And we do that so that we could get the date of the visit. And then we're in this action right here, which is the one that creates the Trello card. We're simply setting the list to scheduled. And up here in the top route right here, we're simply setting the list to ready for scheduling. So that's how we're handling the workflow. And we're also updating, if we scroll down here, we're also updating the due date accordingly. As I mentioned before, we have this automation that's going to move our Trello cards around to different stages in this Kanban. So I'm going to show you how that works. And that's all driven from Jobber. So simply all we need to do is we click on edit. Then we have this custom field for Trello status. And you can see that it's set to scheduled. And we'll just make this in progress. Let's assume that our job is in progress for a moment. And then click on update job. And then let's see what happens. And there you can see our card automatically moved. We didn't even have to do anything. Let's do that again, just to show you one more time. We're going to make it job completed. And then scroll down right here, click on update job. There you go, job completed. And let's just move this all the way to closed. And then we'll click on update job again. And there you go. You can see that the card automatically was moved to closed. So let's talk about how this works in the back end. So right now we're running the workflow, and let's just go over to our job, click on the edit button, go over to Trello status, and let's say we want to move this from paid to invoiced. Go down, click on update job, and head back over to make. Wait a second. And we can see that this is running in real time. And it took the invoice path. So let's break it down. So we have this trigger that essentially watches for job update events. That means whenever you update a job in Jobber, this module is going to trigger, and that will activate our workflow. Then we have a module here that gets our job. And then we have another module that gets the visit ID using a custom API call. Then we have a action that's getting the visit details because in the visit is where the date of the visit is actually stored. So we're using that date and we're mapping it to our Trello action in the date field so that we can make sure our dates stay up to date, because you may have reschedules and you might be moving those dates for your visits. And so you want those to sync automatically to the Trello card. Then we have this action here that sets some custom variables, and we're doing that for filtering and mapping to the Trello card. And essentially all this is doing here is, if we just go in here, go into edit and take a look at the Trello status where we have these statuses, it's just watching for whatever status is set in this field, and it's going to route it accordingly. So as an example, we're in invoiced right here. So because we're in invoiced, it will take this invoice path, which it did. You can see here, it executed on invoice because the Trello status equals invoiced. And that's all there is to it. All these filters are dynamically just routing to the correct action based on whatever the Trello status is set to. And in the action itself, we're doing two things. So we are simply updating the list ID. So we're setting it to whatever it needs to be. So obviously for this route right here, we're setting it to invoiced. And so that's what we're doing for each of these unique routes here. And then the second thing that we're doing is we're setting the due date. So that's all we're doing to keep it up to date at all. So the last thing that we're going to cover is how can we update this Trello status automatically whenever we move any one of these cards around to any of the stages on the Kanban. So let's go ahead and take this card that is in paid right now, and let's move it to closed. Let's go ahead and refresh our screen. And you can see instantaneously, now it's closed. Now let's just move it to job completed. Let's do a refresh. And you can see now it's job completed. Let's move it to in progress. Refresh. Let's do a refresh one more time. And now you can see it's in progress. So you guys get the point. Whatever we do here in Trello and manipulate, we could get that data to flow back to Jobber. So we're updating the Trello status now, but we could update things like obviously any of these dates here, or maybe we could sync the instructions back if it's updated in Jobber, or maybe the job title, whatever information we want. And this is what things look like on the back end. So I'm going to run this scenario here. So it's listening for Trello list update events. I'm going to go into Trello and let's just move this job to job completed, go back into make. You can see that the workflow executed. And just to walk you guys through what's happening here. So obviously it watched and listened for a job update event, and that executed this module here. It proceeded to get the card, and then we look up the basically the Jobber ID, which is stored in a Google Sheets database. Then we proceed to get the job. Then we set some custom field values right here. And then last but not least, we proceed to update the job Trello status. And we're doing that by making an API call using GraphQL. And that's a wrap, guys. Now you know how to connect Jobber with Trello to streamline your project management process and automate all those day-to-day actions. This integration is going to save you guys so much time because now you're not going to have to deal with these things manually. Data is just going to flow automatically from Jobber to Trello and then back from Trello to Jobber in this continuous cycle. So you're not going to have to deal with this stuff manually anymore. And that's a great thing. And you'll be able to take that saved time and reinvest it back in your business to get more customers and grow your bottom line. If you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you out, make sure to hit that like button so we can get it out to more people just like you. And now I'd like to take the opportunity to invite you to subscribe to the Josh No Code YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button below so that you never miss any of our upcoming automation tutorials and you can get notified immediately. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see you in the next one.